Attention bobsled riders! You will soon be embarking on a thrilling podcast down the icy slopes of the Matterhorn. So please remain seated, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the bobsled at all times. Auf Wiedersehen!
Hello, Yodelers! We are the Matterhorn Yodelers. I'm your host today, G5th, with
Jackie.
and
I'm Robert Iger. I'm here to tell you guys the reason why my movies haven't done so well is because the weather's so terrible.
the weather's so
The
bad.
Weather's so
Weather.
terrible. That's why my movies haven't done so well.
Okay.
Boy, all year, that bad,
All
huh?
That year.
All right.
That Florida weather. Ooh.
Ooh, ruins the movies around the world. So today we are going to talk about the theatrical released movies that Disney has given us this year. Since we haven't done individual reviews like we've done in the past,
For some of them.
for some of
Yeah.
them, we're going to do a quick talk about it and give it Mickey bars and move on.
Yep.
So I'll give a list of the movies that we are going to talk about. We're going to talk about Ant-Man and the Wasp and Quantumania. We're going to talk about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. We're going to talk about The Little Mermaid, then Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, Elemental, Haunted Mansion. Quick review.
Quick,
Quick.
because we already did.
We
talk
did a
about it.
comparison of that. It's kind of like hindsight, kind of like, what do you think of it?
Right.
Now. And then we're going to talk about the Marvels, and we'll finish off with Wish. And so these movies have been released, and some of us have watched them in the theaters, and some of us have watched them on Disney Plus.
Yeah, most are now on Disney Plus except for the Marvels
And Wish.
and Wish.
Yep.
So, yes, let's...
Who knows? By the time this episode
Yeah.
comes out. No.
I would expect the Marvels. Well, Marvels will probably come out
I think February.
in February or
They
January.
usually let you know what they're dropping like a month in
Yeah.
advance.
Yeah.
They just said, basically, we're done throwing any money into this. So,
Yeah.
let's talk about Ant-Man and the Wasp of Quantumania. It was supposed to
This was going to be the big hype for Marvel.
where we're getting into the next big villain.
Kane.
Which that's a whole other story now.
Yeah,
but,
that changed.
After the verdict came out,
Yes.
someone got fired.
Yep.
So yes, you have Kang. You have what is his name? Who's Ant-Man?
Scott.
Scott.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Scott. He's got his story. Look out for the little guy.
Yes.
I was really excited for this movie because I really enjoyed the Ant-Man movies.
I do. I think they're fun adventures.
They're just like fun, like light-hearted superhero movies.
It was the surprise movie that came out when you watch Ant-Man. You had like low expectations, like, oh, here it goes. You're just throwing things against the wall and seeing what sticks, and you left the movie going, that was great.
That was
Yeah.
fun. It
That
was,
was
a fun
good
adventure.
storytelling, where they just you didn't need a lot of flash and
Right.
pizzazz. I mean, you had a train scene, and then you're like, oh, it's just toys.
Exactly. That was like, yeah, it was cute. It was fun. It was a great adventure.
So I think my expectations were kind of higher because the
was.
first two movies were good.
Did you watch the second one?
Yeah.
I thought the second one was okay.
the
I
second one was
enjoyed it.
okay. It was okay. The first one's definitely the better one of the three.
Yes.
The third one, I feel like it got caught trying to tell a story for the whole cinematic universe
Yeah.
and unable to tell its own story.
It's a step movie,
Right.
kind of like what Wasp Man or Wasp Man.
Man.
No, Ant-Man and Wasp, the second movie, because it was like, okay, it's the next movie before
we have to introduce
the
this
Thor,
concept
or not Thor, the
for Infinity War.
Infinity
We
Wars,
have
yeah.
to, or no, Endgame. It was before
Yeah,
Endgame.
yeah.
Because they had to introduce the technology that would allow them to time travel, and so that was the point of that movie. And so this movie was meant to be like, this is for those who do not watch Disney Plus. This was people's first introduction to Kang,
Yes.
because he first appeared in Loki season 1 at the end, which we'll probably talk a little bit more about here in the next couple weeks. But we already did talk about Loki 2, so go back and listen to our episode. We discussed Loki season 2. But yeah, no, it just felt like it was it was story block, so it was just one of those stories that they were forced to tell at the cost of missing out on some really great moments and missing characters. We missed, Scott's friend. What's his name?
Yes. The one that tells the stories.
Yes.
Yeah.
That would have been funny. Like,
that was
and I
like-
saw a guy with like
A big head.
with a big head, and then it was this guy who's got like broom hands, and then he was just sweeping up, like
And he's like, "Oh no, it's the bad guy from the first time."
yeah, he's got a big head. Yeah, like that was weird. The big giant head villain.
MODOK, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's a known character in the comics and stuff, and it just, I don't know, the look of it, the design of it just kind of was,
It's kind of hard.
Off-putting.
It's hard to make MODOK into a realistic character because it is a very obscure looking character.
yeah.
It's a giant head with tiny legs and arms. And so that doesn't really exactly.
I was just thinking of like
Meet the Robinsons.
Meet the Robinsons
Yeah.
with the T-Rex.
Yes. And that's exactly what it doesn't translate well to live action.
Yeah.
At least the way they presented it. I wish, honestly, if they would have just kept that metal mask, that probably would have been better.
Like he
Yeah.
pops it open, and then you're like, oh, and then
Yeah.
he's like, I'm gonna shut this. And you're like, thank you.
Pretty
Then it would have
much.
been better. Yeah.
yeah.
And they did, and they played on that joke too much about who he was. I think they did it 3 times, the same joke, and it didn't land. Like it landed the first time, but then after that it was like
I think the funniest joke's like, I'm now an Avenger, and he's like, sure,
Yeah, man.
cool, man, whatever to yourself, man.
Sure. Yeah, you're an Avenger.
That was probably the funniest joke
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
him.
It was where, they were making him a comedy relief, and you're just like, is this what I really need from him? No.
MODOK was meant to be like this super genius,
Yeah.
mastermind. Like he defeats, he's a villain that goes up against the Avengers. Period. And so they kind of
Instead, they
degraded
made
him
him like
to
a
joke.
desperate friend.
They just turned him into a joke.
Yeah.
So. But I mean, it was okay. It was an okay. So a lot of people like to
It's
rip
really
on it.
pretty.
Yeah, like
They created a really cool
Yes.
universe.
the multiverse and
The microverse.
The
I
relationship
guess
with-
what is it?
the quantum
The
realm.
quantum
Yeah.
realm. That's
That was really cool, and it was just kind of fun. It's
Just
kind
to
of
see
like that
the
Dr.
different
Seuss,
universe,
where it's
yeah.
like there's a world within this little
Horton Hears a Who.
Yes,
Mhm.
it's kind of like that, and it was kind of fun to see the different characters, and they've got their own battles and struggles
you-
in this little small place, and it was fun watching that. I really liked the behind the scenes on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Because I watched the movie and then I watched the behind the scenes, and it made me appreciate what I
Sure.
just watched and like what thought went into it, and then just the journey we've gone on, because it kind of feels like this will be the last of like this
Yeah.
Ant-Man kind of like by itself story. Okay, is there any other positives you want to say on this?
It was okay. It's just started us down that step of introducing who the king is and introduce the
was-
council of
Also
kings.
Maddie.
yeah,
Or is that her name? The daughter?
that was one thing I did enjoy, the relationship with Scott and her daughter and and
Yeah,
the
that
daughter.
That was great. And obviously, they're especially, and we'll probably talk about it with the Marvels, but they are hinting at Young Avengers.
Yes.
And
did
so
that.
that was a great.
I did see that
segue.
that part.
You
My
actually
daughter
watched it?
Yeah, I take my daughter to the bathroom like 3 times. Like, Dad, I gotta go potty. And when a 3-year-old has to go potty, there's no like hold it. No. You have
Yeah.
to get up. So I did come back to see that.
Right. So we'll talk a little bit more about that maybe when we get to the Marvels. But they are
Yeah.
hopefully they're not canning that.
Yeah.
But
It's
they are
scary.
leading
They're canning
into
a lot of projects right now.
It's like right after the Star Wars series that are like, you know what? We're gonna take a break on Star Wars.
Yes.
And sometimes you do just need a break, because we're gonna talk a lot about
Marvel.
Marvel
Yeah.
this
Marvel.
period. Okay. Mickey bars for it. What would you give it?
I give it a solid 3.
3?
Yep, 3.
3
3
out of
was
5.
mine.
I'm at a 2.75 because 3 is like, I would watch it again.
I would.
I don't think I'd watch this movie again. I haven't watched the second one again, and I kind of have the same feeling after this one. I'm missing that magic that I got from the first one. It's not bad. It's just for me to get a 3, it's like I would not fight watching it again in my mind.
Yeah, I am a
If
big
it was on, I would watch it.
I really
Okay.
enjoy watching all the Marvel movies. I really get into them. And so this is one that's like, yeah, if I was watching all the Marvels again, I would have no problem watching this one.
Of the villains, I mean, having King there, he was a good villain.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he built up, and for watching this, it helped me appreciate more of what I was going to get in Loki.
Right.
And I was like, it's just unfortunate. It just, what has
That's-
come to pass is going to change what we receive.
let's just talk about the actor's been fired.
He's been fired. He got in trouble with the law, and Disney's like, nah, that's not
We're
how
just
we do
gonna-
things.
Which I actually appreciate Disney this time. They waited until the verdict
Yeah.
to fire him, unlike Johnny Depp, where they fired him too early
Mm-hmm.
and they kind of burnt that bridge.
Yes, they did.
It's fine. We don't need any more.
No.
We
We
talked about
don't.
that. We don't need any more.
But-
No.
Yeah, so we don't
Unless
know.
it's Edward Scissorhands, too.
There we
That
go.
would be weird.
That would be interesting. But
Basically, we don't know what's going to happen to the story of Kane. If
They-
they just going to nix it.
they
There's-
changed the name of his movie. So
Oh, yeah?
because it was called Kang Dynasty, Avengers Kang Dynasty. Now it's just Avengers 5.
Okay.
So
There's talks of replacing him in the sense of like with a different character villain.
there's talks about just replacing the actor for Kang and just having a variant of King that looks different, or potentially just scrapping the King storyline and leaving the end of season 2 of Loki as like
As
the,
is,
The
as
end.
the end.
the end
Because
of
they kind of
Kang.
did that. We're
Yeah.
clipping all the variants and like
Right. And
And they could get away with it.
and then
satisfied.
and then making a 2-part movie for Secret Wars involving Doctor Doom.
Ooh,
So
ooh,
that's also the rumor, but
ooh.
we'll see. We'll probably have a
It's
better
in
idea
development.
come D23 this year.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's D23 this year.
Yes.
Oh, it's every other year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So on the odd years. Or no.
It's the even years.
Even
now.
years.
It was odd, and then COVID changed everything.
Yeah.
COVID. All right. Next movie is now Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I think that's the next one. Yeah, Little Mermaid came out just after that.
Okay. I thought it was an okay movie.
I laughed. I thought it was fun.
It was a fun adventure.
It's probably the most fun movie out of all the ones released.
Well, Guardian of the Galaxy is supposed to be fun and funny.
Good music.
Yeah.
Was it?
It was a good like closure to it.
I agree.
I'm
was-
not wanting more. I'm very satisfied with the ending. Yeah.
So it's a good story.
Yeah, I
And
would
it served
say
its purpose.
It
yeah.
was dark. It was a really dark.
It was a dark
It was
story.
a dark turn.
I would
a lot
say-
of people were turned off with how dark it went, especially dealing with like animal cruelty sort of stuff. So that it got a lot of attention because of that. But I thought it was good. I think it was good storytelling.
Yeah.
I felt
We got an origin
more-
story with
Rocket.
Rocket. I was
Which
saying
was-
orange, and I was like, no, it's not. It smells like orange. No, orange. Orange.
Which people love Rocket, and so it's great to get that. And I think it's okay to be a little dark in these things because like he is who he is because of that.
It was already a gritty part
Yeah.
of the galaxy that they were
Yes.
dealing with.
Right, but then I think that the whole like aspect of experimenting on animals kind of, I think, took it to another level.
Or wiping out entire worlds because it's like it's the whole god like reset. It's like
Yes.
SimCity where we're
Yeah.
like monster and you
Yes.
just wipe out. And
I did think the third movie was better than the second.
I would agree with you.
I agree with you as well. It's the dad. I'm a god.
Yeah, it was a little weird.
like-
It was like daddy issues.
I'm gonna beat you with the power of Pac-Man.
So yeah, it was better, and I had good laughs.
Yeah.
Even without Gamora being on the team.
I didn't want them to just like basically replace her.
And they did, she's going on her
She's her own
journey,
thing.
and she's a different person. It just shows you like
They moved on.
they've moved on. The multiverse creates different characters.
Yeah.
Different personalities, and it worked for me. I had no problems watching it. I
Yeah.
laughed. I shed tears.
Yep.
you know, it was probably one of the best stories of the movies that came out this year.
Absolutely.
I think one of the better movies that came out since the end of Endgame.
I would agree with that.
I can't think of another one that has come up where I was like, that's it. That was amazing.
I mean, the closest maybe Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange was good, but it was like
Yeah,
it was,
but it still didn't hit the
it was
mark.
dark. It
It
was
didn't hit the mark.
It was more of a. I wish they. Yeah, it's more of a Scarlet Witch movie than a Doctor Strange movie.
yeah,
Yeah.
but Doctor Strange was going to sell tickets
Oh,
with his name as opposed
absolutely.
to Scarlet Witch. Yeah, it was. I think you're right. I agree with you in that statement. It's been the best post Thanos.
And also wrap up, other than like Iron Man's wrap up and Endgame and stuff. But like,
the characters can move on and, you know, meet up or join in at any point.
anytime.
And I don't need a movie
Yeah.
about their journey going
Right.
forward, because you get a feel of what they do and you're satisfied with them continuing to do that.
Well, and they state that Peter Quill will be back.
Yeah, he'll be back.
Yeah.
He'll be back for. He'll probably either be back for Avengers 5 or he'll be back for Secret Wars. For sure, he'll be back for Secret Wars because that storyline involves every character in the MCU. So he will for sure be back in that movie. Not sure about Avengers 5, but maybe Avengers 6 for sure.
Awesome. So let's give it some Mickey bars. What do you guys say?
3.5, 3.5.
I'm good with 3.5 too.
Yeah.
I would give it at least a 4 myself. I think
4?
it's I think
So
it was
it's
good
like
enough
it's
that
on. You're gonna turn.
Yeah.
You're gonna sit down and watch it.
Yep,
Kind of
I
like
absolutely would.
cool. And I don't see any issues with that. The story is good to like come back to. If it comes on TV in a year, I'd probably sit back and watch it
Yeah.
again. Or my wife says, I haven't seen this. I'll sit and watch her with her.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's the best one thus far for the year for me. Next movie, The Little Mermaid remake.
There was a lot of controversy with this movie, with the casting. First of all, I had no problem with the casting. I thought it actually made more sense.
She was really good.
She
had a great voice.
I thought she was a perfect Little Mermaid. It made sense to like the location wise and story wise.
I just had no issues with that casting
The
of
casting
Ariel.
I thought was fine. The story itself, I mean, it's just a copy and paste.
And that's the reason why I didn't see it. I've kind of decided.
Come on,
when it
Eric had
comes-
his own song.
Yeah, that was weird.
I've kind of decided
It
now.
was odd. You're just
Eric's,
like,
Eric's I Want song was bad.
For me personally, I'm kind of done with these remakes unless you're
Yeah.
gonna remake something worth remaking.
That's
And
different.
I don't feel Little Mermaid deserves a remake because the original stands well alone on its
Yeah.
own. And so I've
it's
kind
like
of
watching
just,
Lion King. You're like,
exactly.
okay.
It was like I don't want to go into a movie going, which movie am I gonna like better? And if I'm going into the movie thinking that, I'm not gonna go see the movie.
Comparison is the thief of joy.
It
and if
is.
you're comparing about your experiences of another movie,
Yep.
you're going to just steal your own joy.
That's it. And so I decided I'm just going to take myself out of the equation on this one. So you guys can have this discussion. I have no vote. on
Had
this.
no motivation to watch it, and I was like, oh, we're recording this episode. Let me watch this movie.
the
And-
podcast gun against head watching Disney Plus.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that in my life this year.
Yeah.
I watched it. I was doing things, and it was meh.
What did you think? Oh, so let's go with the characters. What
Yeah.
did you think of Ursula?
I didn't mind her. I enjoyed the Ursula character. I enjoy the human Ursula too.
Mm-hmm.
Like I felt like you could see the evilness.
Is it
in her.
Veronica? Is that her name?
Yeah.
Veronica.
I still like the part from the cartoon. It's like, Eric, don't. Eric, no. It was like, oh, goodness gracious. Put the shell back on your neck.
I like the design of like her tentacles or whatever. They're
Yeah.
kind of like glowy and stuff.
Yeah, the visual part of Ursula was good.
Yes. King Triton, I didn't care for that much.
He was weak.
Yeah, I was
Is that
like,
Javier?
It's it's the ghost villain from Pirates 5.
Right.
it was a little weird. And it was just like, there was a part where like he came above water, and there was like, you could tell the parts that like the water was CGI, and you're like, looks weird.
Yeah, it's not. I didn't notice that as much. Again, I was watching this with my daughter, and
Does your daughter enjoy it?
she enjoyed it, and we got the dolls, and she plays, and she likes, one Ariel with red hair is the mommy, and the Ariel with the brown hair is the baby, and we got ones with flippers, and so they'll be swimming together, and they're like, no, I'm a human, and we got Eric the doll, and so, she'll make one Ursula, and I'll be like, and Ursula will be like, marry Merrick, and he's like, I don't know, like it's fun to play with the dolls after they see the movie.
Yeah.
So it's been a joy getting into this phase with my oldest daughter and watching a movie and her connecting with the toy and the movie. At first she lost interest. She got distracted. I mean, she's only like 2.5
Yeah.
or 3. Yeah, she was 3 when it came out. So we were still experimenting with attention span in movies.
I didn't care for the like CGI of Sebastian.
I didn't like Sebastian's voice.
No, it was
They fixed Flounder, I guess, sort of.
nah.
That was the controversy when they first showed Flounder. It was kind of like Sonic when they released the
Right.
world, and they're like, no, fix it.
Yeah. Yep.
Not going to work.
Right.
You could tell, like, they released it early going, we're unsure about this. What do you think, public? And let us know. And
Right.
they let them know. And they're like, that's weird.
Well,
Stop that.
Man, they definitely let us know about the Snow White,
Oh
the
yeah.
dwarf situation, and nobody likes those dwarves at all. They're like,
stop
whoa, what is
They
that?
changed that.
To bring in the what are the trolls from the Santa Claus TV show with their weird mask right now. All right, Jackie, what do you think Little Mermaid should get?
I give it a 2.
I give it a 2.5.
And
The music is
the
like
music is good.
It's still Alan.
I
Menken,
enjoyed the
so-
area. Is it Hallie or
Halle Berry.
Halle Berry? I enjoyed her. I thought she did a very good job.
I agree.
But it was just a copy and paste, and I think people are just done with that.
That's yep.
I think
we
people.
discussed that on our remakes of Disney and of Disney animation. It is tough to remake the classic Renaissance
Like,
for
as
us.
soon as I heard, oh, Moana's in production.
Really?
Come on.
Has it really been that long?
I
We have to
know.
do it.
I
Well, The
know.
Rock still got it, so let's do it. you
Yep,
know?
The Rock still looks good. So this 50-year-old man still looks solid. So let's do it before he turns 80.
Yeah, I think people are just done with the remakes, and it's just like, and movies are expensive, so it's like, am I really gonna spend, $50 to take my family to watch a movie that I've seen?
And I'm going to see it on
Correct.
Disney Plus in the next year, unless
Yep.
they change how they do things on Disney Plus, where
Which they
it'll
may.
be released in a year.
They may decide to go that route.
It would
Or
be
they go, if you
smarter.
really want this, you got to pay $5 for it.
Yeah,
For the month.
yeah.
Like I that was the biggest turns for seeing a lot of movies going, I know it's going to be on Disney Plus in
Yep.
3 months.
Yeah,
That's
so
how
why
even-
spend the money?
Even amongst Disney fans, that has become a true statement. It's just like, I can wait.
Yep.
Like, these movies don't have enough hype behind them to make you want to go. Like, I have to see this now.
The only thing that makes me go to the movie theater is like, I feel like this movie I'll enjoy more in the theater than if I'm at home.
I agree. I agree that it does help knowing that this specific movie is going to be good. Like I wish I saw Avatar
Mm-hmm. It was
in
fantastic
the theater
movie theater.
because I have zero like desire to go see it on my television.
Right.
Because I know
it,
Yeah.
it doesn't have the same
I'm
effect.
cheating myself
Yep.
out of an experience, and I'm just mad that I didn't see it in the theater.
Well,
when I
you'll
did.
probably get another chance when number 3 comes out.
I
so.
figured.
Oh, they'll probably recycle them in.
Probably.
Well, that's what they did with the first Avatar before the second one came
because it was
out.
like 10-year difference.
Yeah. Well, and Disney announced that all the Pixar movies that were released to Disney Plus first are going to be released in movie theaters.
Was
again.
Soul on the list?
Soul,
Luca.
I think. Luca.
Yeah, I know Luca was. I wasn't sure if Soul was.
I love
And then
Luca.
Turning Red.
Turning Red, yeah. Which I don't know if that's a good call or not.
I think they're just
they're
desperate.
just trying to help the movie. They may be trying to help movie
Well,
theaters.
we're
I
going to
think
talk
that's
about
a-
this when we get to our State of Disney in the
Yeah.
next
Couple weeks.
Couple weeks.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to our next movie. It's Elemental. While we're talking about Pixar,
Yeah, this was like the first Pixar movie that was released in movie theaters in quite some time.
Right. I waited till Disney Plus to see it.
Same.
I saw it on Disney Plus. Yeah,
Yeah,
I wasn't going
I-
to theaters with this one.
Yeah, I waited for Disney Plus on this one. It was just like same attitude.
I thought it was a great story. I thought it was. I think I had vibes of classic Pixar vibe to storytelling with it.
it was cute.
It's a cute little love story. With fire and water. I felt that I think his name was Wade, the
Yeah.
main water guy. I think his crying was too much. I think they played that card a little hard, but I did enjoy a lot of the different types of characters. I enjoyed the different elements and how they interacted
Elements
with
of the
one another.
story or the elements.
All.
All of it.
I know your family really liked it.
Yeah, it's a cute story. Does it stand up to, like, where does this fall on the list? Probably somewhere in the middle of the pack of the Pixar films.
I would say it's a cute movie. When you see it, you're like, oh, I have no problem watching this. I would maybe watch it again, but it's almost forgettable.
Yes.
I feel like there's something missing, and I
Yeah.
think it's a villain.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
There's no one you're rooting against water leaking in. So you're rooting against a natural disaster.
Yeah.
That's and
Or
and
pa-
discrimination. Yeah, that's the other thing. Discrimination between different
Elements.
and
Well-
prejudices. That's the internal struggle that you're fighting against in
Well,
this.
Disney's been on a trend of like anti-villains in movies, which is in the animated world.
Because we went through like a anti-love story,
Yeah.
man saving the day kind of
yeah,
love story.
and now there's just like no villains. And you're just like, ugh.
But I really liked when Wade, did the sacrifice
Self-sacrifice.
Yeah.
for the fire because he knows it meant so much, and it was really sweet. And they're like their little like cry off, that was really cute.
Yeah.
Like he broke like Amber,
Yeah.
like it was very cute. I didn't care much for Wade, and it may be for the emotions.
Mm-hmm. He
It's
was definitely-
it's
I
too
felt-
much. Where like you're like, well, that's a lot of emotion. I'm not
Yes.
ready for that.
Right. But I felt Ember, she was great.
Yeah,
She was a fantastic
I like the dad.
character. The dad was fun.
yeah.
As it was a cute story. But yes, it's forgettable.
It does play on the immigration story, and when you watch behind like the
behind-
director,
Yeah.
it's like that was really good as a documentary of knowing where his story is. And I'm like learning
I think
the
that
director,
it's
he's the voice of Remy's brother
yeah.
in Ratatouille.
Yeah.
And you're like, he was just an animator, and you're like,
Yep.
he's just doing the voiceover, and it was like, I think it's Django, or is Django the dad?
I don't know.
But it's
I don't
just,
remember.
but
Diego?
How has this
I don't know.
movie affected your kids?
oh, my daughter likes the movie.
Yeah.
She goes, I'm going to elemental school every day. She's going to daycare. So she's like, she'll be like, Daddy, you're Wade and I'm Ember. I love you. And I'm like, well, I love you too.
Aw.
Like, she's very sweet. And so every day I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, you going to elemental school? And she's like, yeah, I'm going to elemental school.
Cute.
And I was like, there's not even a school for it, but
That's so cute.
she's just
though.
created it.
It's
But
great.
Like it's fun to see like these movie perspective through the kids' eyes.
Yes.
this is the first one that like the cartoon of a new release that she really got into, and so it's interesting to try to watch these
That doesn't
movies.
involve a princess or Jack Skellington.
There's no princess or Jack Skeleton, so it was a fun one to watch with her, and especially there's no music. My daughter's
Yeah.
music driven, and so she watched it and she liked it, and
Yeah.
so I thought it was okay, and I agree it's on the lower end of Jackie, where it's like it's lower on the list and it'll be forgettable.
Yeah.
I don't actively like, let's watch this one.
Right.
In comparison, I like Luca still, but Luca touches my childhood story
Sure.
of being a young boy and it going on adventures with a rowdy kid with like
Yeah.
so it all depends on if these characters touch your
personal
soul
connection,
and
yeah.
the immigration story, and it doesn't resonate with me. And I'm not saying it's a bad story, it just doesn't speak to me. So
Yeah.
I still think it's a fine story, but I think it is missing a
Mm-hmm.
a good, like,
It's just missing something.
it's missing something, and I think it's just the villain aspect of it. All right, but Mickey Bars, what are we doing?
I give it a solid 3.
I'm going 2.5.
I'm in the 2.7 for me, 7.5.
Like it was good, but it's not at that point where I would like actively
If
put
it
it
was
back on.
I would watch it.
I may not.
I would passively. I would in my
Phone in your hand.
a phone in
watch
my
it.
hand, or I'm vacuuming. I'd rather vacuum than watch the film.
Okay.
But if my daughter wants me to watch it with her, I'll watch it with her. I'm not gonna
Right.
fight her on it, but I'm not gonna be like, this is the worst movie. No, I still
No.
think Pixar's in its lull right now.
Yes.
It really needs to kind of figure out its identity.
Which we'll talk about in the next couple weeks.
Boy, Peter's just like
Oh,
really building
I am
this
like-
line.
I have been waiting for this State of Disney episode for like 3 months.
I remember when I brought it up the first time, you're like, I guess we could talk about that. Now you're like,
Oh,
every
man.
year it's like,
I
let
wanna-
me tell you.
I want to do it like once a month. That's how much pumped I want to talk about this.
All right. We're going to talk about Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
Big one for you.
Big one. What are you guys? I'll let you guys go. I'm biased because I'm like, Indiana Jones thug life on my chest. Like,
I remember seeing in the theater and I was like, yeah, it's a fun adventure movie. But then, like,
did you watch on Disney Plus?
No, I watched it in the theater.
Okay, but did you watch it on Disney Plus when it was released?
So I had to watch it again today because I forgot what was it about the movie. I forgot about the movie. And so I had to rewatch it today.
Not a good sign.
My kids will actively put that on their own.
Awesome.
I thought the first beginning part of the movie was great. Before you see old Harrison
So you
Ford.
like CGI Harrison
Yeah,
Ford.
the CGI didn't bother me.
I mean, the technology is getting better when it comes to doing the
I thought the
deepfakes.
story was strong enough that the CGI didn't bother me.
Yeah, I disagree. I actually hate the beginning part.
Sure. No,
I see the importance of the story. That part of the story works, but I felt like I was watching a video game.
Yeah.
It was pure video game. Like the first time I was watching, I was at a weird angle, so it didn't bother me as much. But then when I watched it on TV, I was like, this is actively bothering me. But I've gone on this rant. It's CGI.
Yep.
And
I just have
I'll
to
leave it at
live
that.
with
I was
Yep.
watching it on my smaller TV that's in this room.
And it may work better.
And I think that's probably why.
if you don't have a high def television,
Put it
Yeah.
on the tube.
CGI Harrison Ford isn't so bad.
There's just
Yeah.
moments where I'm just like, no,
Yep.
nope, can't do it. It's the technology's better
yeah.
than what it was in the past. It's not like Mummy 2, Scorpion King, where you're like, oh,
Right.
you just killed a good movie
Right.
instantly. But yeah, that part bothered me. I like old Harrison Ford. I saw him. I was like, it's Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I didn't mind the old Harrison Ford. But I think the story dragged a little bit in this movie.
They did drag out the story
Yep.
more. They put more chases in there.
Well, because Harrison Ford's not in the best fighting shape, and it's going to be
Well,
hard to sell.
How old is he?
Fight or flight, and the law of flight.
Yes, there's a lot of flight. There's not a lot of,
Punches.
punches. You don't get that.
Yeah, the
noise.
emphasis of the punch.
I
Those
didn't
sounds.
mind the story they wrote for it.
Mhm.
I thought it was better than the last one.
Which, if you remember when we first started talking about this movie, before I knew anything about this movie, I said my prediction is that this is going to be time related. That's how they're going to end it. This is like some sort of time machine. And I called it.
You're
Yeah.
right. You're right. It was. I like the device, and what it was doing,
Yeah.
and what the villain was trying to do. Look, villain. What do you guys think? Good villain? Good
He was a
villains?
decent villain.
Yeah, he's a
I think
a bad guy.
I think he was. Like I said,
I did enjoy.
Bring on the Nazis and
Yeah.
punch them in the face.
I-
It's fun, like
I do remember that line when he sees him. He says, "You look familiar. Are you still a Nazi?" I love that line. That
it's
was a
like an
great
old
line.
person response going.
Yeah.
I can't remember where I've seen
But you're
you.
still a Nazi, aren't you? I love that. That was great. That was a great line.
It was fun. I love the chase scene with the horse, with the astronaut.
in New York, yeah.
Yeah, that was fun. And then the Marrakesh one, that was fine with me. The chase was fine.
Yeah.
There's just, like you said, there's lulls.
Yeah. There's
I mean,
moments, and you're just like, this could have been written better.
like I think there were some characters that I was just like, oh, like when Antonio Banderas showed up, I'm like, oh, all right,
Yeah.
he's gonna be. Oh no, he's not.
I
Okay.
know it would have been more fun if he was more in it.
More in it. Yeah. It's so what do we think of the goddaughter? She's the actress from Flea.
Eh,
I thought she was fine.
Yeah, I mean
didn't care for her.
they needed a female kind of character because that's Indiana Jones, really.
Yeah. I think she was good.
Yeah.
I think she served the purpose. I don't think she's going to get her own spin-off.
No.
It was a one and done kind of thing, and she was a good as his goddaughter, and kind of showed she had the
Sidekick,
adventurous
yes.
spirit.
Sure.
What do we think of the kid sidekick?
He was fun. I liked him.
He was
Yeah.
fun. I had no issues.
Him learning how to fly, like he learned how to fly listening to the pilots.
The pilots at the bar. Yeah.
Yeah, that
And
was fun. That was.
I liked
Yeah.
when the Italian guy
He's
bobs
like,
up
"What are you doing?"
and they're on that adventure at the end. That was good. And then, yeah, I like the whole scene with Archimedes.
Yeah, that
and
was great.
if you like the adventure step by step,
Yeah.
if it's the MO.
I think if you're a fan of Indiana Jones, you're gonna you're gonna enjoy the movie.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Do I think it's the best one?
No.
And it's hard to have the best one when
It's kind
geriatric
It's kind of
Indiana
forgettable.
Jones.
I mean,
I think it's better than Crystal Skull.
yes,
Yeah.
but Crystal Skull, you're like, oh, that's the one with the aliens. This one, I'm like, what was this one about?
Time.
Oh,
It's time.
Time.
Yeah.
And it's not as memorable.
It doesn't stick with you.
There's no heart pulling out of the chest.
You're right.
and-
There's no heart being taken out. There's no fun
Boulders
boulders.
or-
Yeah. No, you're.
What was the one weird Indiana Jones moment?
Well, I think it was the big battle, the ancient battle that.
Yeah, the Battle of Syracuse,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that was probably the crazy
where they're
moment.
the dragon of the
Yeah.
time, and
Yeah.
I thought that was cool, and it was fun to see Indiana going, "Let me stay here.
Yeah.
I've studied this.
I want to live it.
Let me just live this and die. Because
Yeah.
what else do I have?" And there was a dark side to Indiana Jones,
Right.
but it was necessary for the story of what happened to what was his name?
Bud. Bud? Is that his name?
Mud or Mud?
Mud,
I think
Bud, something like
yeah,
that. His
it's-
son. His
His
Yeah.
son, and how he died, and he doesn't him and Marion are not together, and it was just, I like how they ended it. It was good. I felt happy, and then
And they brought Solo back.
they brought Sulla, and he was good. Even though he wasn't much in the adventure, he was, just the little presence of him made it feel like home.
Yeah.
So let's give it Mickey bars right now. What do we got? I'm giving it a 3, and it's it. I'll watch it again. It's not the strongest. Could it be the most forgettable? That's up for you to decide.
I would go 3.5.
3.5.
Like, I enjoyed it. My kids really get into it. They know that one more than they do
Did they watch the original
They
ones?
don't. They don't watch the
Oh.
original ones. They like this one. This was actually when I took my son to the theater, just me and him.
Your oldest?
My oldest, yeah. I said, because it's like I want to see it in the theater, and then I know Bentley was kind of excited because they had Indiana Jones and Fortnite around that time, and so he was all like,
Getting in the
"Oh,
skins.
yeah," and
So
so he's like, "I want to see the movie," and he enjoyed it, and he's attached himself to that movie, even though it's old Indy.
it is, and you don't, and it just hit me now. They didn't have the whip.
No.
Yeah,
It was there was one little. There's not a lot of emphasis of it where it's a tool to be used. It was one
It was
time,
a joke.
and then a joke of yeah, this doesn't work anymore, which is like, Well, yeah.
Well,
don't bring a whip to a gunfight.
and they kind of talk a little bit about that, and we'll probably talk about this when we talk about our Disney Plus of the year, with the Indiana Jones Harrison Ford documentary, where they talked about how like it was a lot of work for Harrison Ford to learn how to use that whip, and
Yep.
so Harrison Ford's kind of old, so for him to be pulling these whip stunts is kind of dangerous. So
What?
Yeah.
Giving an 80-year-old man a whip?
yeah,
All right, man, go out there.
correct.
Yeah, I think for the movie, I give it a solid 3. I remember like enjoying it in the theater, and then I was like, I forgot about it, so I started watching. I was like, oh, I could watch this, and
Yeah.
so I have no like major issues with it.
I don't
It's
think
just-
I don't think I had any cringe moments like I did with Crystal Skull.
Oh, cringe. Yeah, I agree.
There
Swinging
really was
monkey vines, multiple waterfalls.
Yeah, like I didn't really get any of those vibes in this movie, so I'll give it credit in that regard.
I think it's a fun adventure movie.
Yeah. Yeah, there was no like nuclear bomb hiding
Right.
refrigerator moments.
Right.
But that's what makes Indiana Jones.
To a degree. To a degree. I understand there's a level of fantasy, and then there's some where it's just like, that's not
There's
survivable.
fantasy and like fun, like kooky, like how did he survive that kind of in all of the Indiana Jones.
All of them, but I think the Crystal Skull pushed it to the limits
It did.
because they had CGI.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
You got George Lucas there. Put more CGI in there.
I've got this big giant blue theater, like or studio. Yeah, so yeah. It's not the best, and you'll probably watch the originals, but if you're looking for something different, I recommend
works.
it. It gets the
works.
job done.
It's fine.
It's not gonna make you billions.
No.
Not gonna do it. All right, next one is the Haunted Mansion. I know we talked about it earlier. We all agreed that it was probably better than the original one.
Yep.
Yeah.
I would say I would consider it a
I think it's a
new-
solid Halloween movie.
Yes.
Solid one. It's you can watch it with Hocus Pocus too. It grew on me the more I watched it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'd probably enjoy it again watching it. I wouldn't go like, oh, I've watched this. Let me go vacuum something
Yeah.
right now.
I think it's a movie you're like, I want to watch a fun Disney Halloween movie with my family.
Haunted Mansion.
It's a
The new
easy-
Haunted Mansion is definitely a good Halloween time.
And I think
movie.
it gets the feel of the creepiness
Yes.
of the Haunted Mansion.
Right. It
I think
gets
it's
it
also
right.
a good introduction movie to kids to the Haunted Mansion.
Two scary
If
movies.
Yeah.
They have never done the Haunted Mansion ride to like introduce
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, it's just for me it was the ending that kind of killed it.
Yeah. The
and the
ending
Hat
was
Box didn't work, but I think we all I think I gave it a 3.
It
yeah.
was something around that. I think
It's
I
like
gave it
I'll
3,
watch
5,
it
something
again,
like
but it's not gonna make you billions.
No.
It was. I remember watching it in the theater, and I was the only one in there. Like I think I walked my daughter to sleep during it. Okay, next one is The Marvels.
I have not seen this movie.
I just watched this movie yesterday with my daughter. She was like, "Why does the cat have tentacles coming out?" And I was like, "I hope you don't have nightmares." But yeah,
Yeah,
Goose.
how did she
Flirting.
react to?
She was just in her own world, but we're teaching her like you have to sit in your seat in the theater.
Yeah.
So it was a true test for her
to watch a movie that she's probably not that interested
She was
in.
not interested, but it was the fact of just going to the movies and the experience, and she went with Dad. And maybe she won't want to go with Dad to the movies, knowing that Dad doesn't go to the Trolls
Yes.
Yeah.
or Wish every time. Mm-hmm. She's like, "Dad, we watch Wish next time." I was like, "Maybe." So yeah, I saw it. You saw it too,
I saw
Peter.
it. I saw it shortly after it came out.
I wanted
so-
to see it, but it left my preferred movie theater. So
Yeah, the week we were like, all right, we're gonna do this recording, and then Disney's like, we're done. No
They
more.
pulled the plug.
We're pulling the
Yeah.
plug.
Didn't even make 2 months.
No.
I can see why. And I don't want to go too much into spoilers because of Jackie.
I haven't seen it. Yeah. But
So we'll go into the characters. What do you think of the Marvels, the Team Marvels?
I think Ms. Marvel is the highlight of the entire movie.
I agree.
Well-
She was the
And we
She
love
was all the laughs. Her family was the laughs in it.
Yes.
It
we
was
love
good.
the Disney Plus series
Yes,
too.
we did.
And it made me go, I like the show more because
Yes.
I like the characters. And
Yep.
I was
Yeah.
like, honestly,
She was the highlight of the movie.
You think it would have been better if they just made a movie of her?
I think it should have just been in season 2 of the Marvels. And because then they could have had more fun with the family. I think it would have been fine as a season 2
I think this. Well, I think
for
this.
Miss Marvels.
Unfortunately, the thing that I hate about this movie is the fact that like this is the movie. This was Disney's test to see if Miss Marvel was gonna make it, and it's a bad movie for her because it's not about her.
No, it's about Carol.
It's about
Carol.
Carol.
No one likes Carol.
She's Superman
Yes.
with no kryptonite.
Yes.
She can literally fly into a sun and explode it and be perfectly fine.
It's and unfortunately she can't develop a personality still.
It's
That's just her acting.
She's definitely the
I think Brie Larson. I think that's just how her character is. She's kind of just broken, lost.
Yep.
Because she was in like brainwashed, and so that's part of the story you're gonna find out.
Yeah.
But but she has no personality, and
Yep.
it's really hard to relate with Superman when you're like,
You have no heart.
I don't relate to you.
nope.
And if like in the movie she just disappeared, I'd be like, cool. I don't need to see you again, and
Right.
I won't be sad.
Well, that's how it was in the Avengers. Was like she disappeared,
I've got a mohawk now.
and then she
I didn't
comes
blip.
back.
Yeah, it just didn't.
It was a weak story. The villain, I don't remember the villain's name. That's like I left that movie going, who is the villain again? I don't remember what.
You
her
know
name
who
was.
it is, you just don't know her name.
Right. Correct.
And it's just kind of like, it's the weakest part is that she's a subpar person where it's like, I'm just trying to do this for my people and for power.
Yeah.
You
So
know?
it's like, is she actually a villain?
Well, yeah, she
Yeah,
is.
she's
Oh,
a
okay.
villain.
Oh, yeah,
she's a villain. She's taking away from others.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's and leaving chaos behind. So she feels, she's the villain, and she's got to get defeated. You're just like, oh, you're just a one and done villain, because we've seen it 30 times already. The one and done, and we'll never see you again. Bye. You
Right.
know, and that's what you get. You know what you're getting. We've seen it all before. But I had no problem with Captain Rambos or
She
Lieutenant.
was okay.
She was fine.
I mean,
It's hard when you have two straight character
Yeah.
comedic
You do.
roles, and you have a teenager
Yeah,
being the comedy, which she does fine.
she did good. I think Nick Fury was fun in the movie. A definite departure from Secret Invasion.
Is
which-
this movie
It was like two different
Does
characters.
this
It
movie
was.
take place after Secret?
It's
or
after.
It's after.
It's
Oh,
after.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he finds his mojo.
Yeah.
Secret Wars is like Nick
Secret
Fury
Invasion.
finds his mojo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Secret Invasion. He's walking around like I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
No, it's like
and now he's all like I've got a pep in my step and I'm off to work.
the prayer scene. He's all like, "Are you praying?" And then he's like, "Yes, I'm sorry." And he's like, "No, we need all the help we can get." It's like that was kind of fun to see him,
Yes.
like, how Stella found her groove. This was Nick Fury had found his groove in Secret
Yes.
War. So, or not Secret War,
Invasion.
Secret Invasion. So many secrets.
I know.
Secrets. Yeah, I'm gonna say this is a forgettable movie,
It is.
and it's unfortunate because I like Miss Marvel.
It's a building movie.
How
can
much
t-
building can we
Was
get?
this better
was
than
this-
Quantum or
this was-
less?
I think Quantum's better
Quantum's
movie.
better.
Okay.
But I think the point of this movie was to set up the idea of Young Avengers.
Which we'd already gotten hints in
We got
other
And
hints
like,
TV
do
shows.
they need
We
to
get it
set
in
up?
Ant-Man. We get it in Hawkeye.
we
get it in
we
Thor.
get the idea that they're gonna do it, but like they laid it out with that mid-credit scene where they're like Miss Marvel's. You'll see it. Miss Marvel
Yeah.
basically imitates
Nick
Nick
Fury.
Fury's moment with Iron Man, where she goes and like
Let's get the
is
let's get the
hiding
team
in
together.
Kate Bishop's like dorm or whatever, being like, "You think you're on the only superhero teen out there? I hear Ant-Man's got a daughter. She can probably
Exactly.
Yeah.
They just have that moment.
It's built up where they're trying to get the next generation, which I think it's smart
Yes, it's a
to get the
setup.
younger generation in there because you're getting a bunch of 40-year-olds like us going, I'm tired.
And the thing is, and I mentioned, like, the thing I hate about this is that, like, even though, like, I love Miss Marvel in this movie will impact how Miss Marvel is portrayed in the future, and the fact that they may not give her another shot as a major character in a movie.
I think so. I think, you know what?
I'm
think
worried.
Who
It
knows?
may
She
not.
might
It may
outshine
not.
in the Young
Character-
Avengers.
Her character to me was not hurt. It was
But the
the
performance
story
in the box,
around it.
right? But the performance in
hurt.
the box office may impact future
Exactly.
storytelling.
If you go by money, then this may hurt her.
Correct.
But the writing did not hurt her. Her portrayal of her role did not hurt it.
It did not.
As opposed to Captain Marvel, where I'm going,
Bye-bye.
did we make the right choice with Brie Larson? Or did we write this poorly and Brie Larson's nailing it? I don't know.
Right.
Which says that's bad
Right.
when I'm questioning, is it acting or is it writing? And I question, the writing's been fine for other characters.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it just this character stinks so bad for me to go like, I can't like you?
Yeah. She's the least favorite superhero, like, I think.
She's just not relatable.
No.
That's all it is. She's not a relatable character.
All right, Peter, what do you give it?
The movie on its own, I'm giving it it's going 2.
I'm a 2.25.
Yeah, like Miss Marvel pushes it a little bit, but the movie itself is a little flat. If you just take out and just be like, this is just a fun adventure, take it as is. Don't read too much into this story arc. Just if you want a mind-numbing movie for a fun adventure, it'll work. It'll scratch that itch. But is it that, like, this was amazing? No, absolutely not. Not that great of a movie. It does fall flat.
It's definitely not going to carry your holiday
The highlights were the
audience.
the end credit scenes where they show the X-Men.
That
from
was
the
more exciting than just about every scene.
They show the X-Men from the other universe show up.
Come on, you didn't like Captain Marvel's like jellyfish hat? Like, I've kind of a big
Yeah.
deal here. You'll watch it, you'll be like, what's up with this hat? Like, costuming, too funny. Okay, yeah, it's not great. It's probably one of the weakest Marvel movies, and I think just the success of Captain Marvel making so much money before COVID. Even when I walk out of that movie, I'm going, it's
That
really not
movie
that
wasn't
great.
I didn't enjoy that.
And I
movie.
really don't care for the character, but everyone loved it because it was right after like Black Panther, and that was just like peak.
Huge.
Like, I think I saw that 3 times in the theater.
It was the first movie after Infinity War.
Yeah, and you're like, this is cool. The universe is moving, and I think a lot of the momentum of that carried
Died.
that with it, and then it just and the momentum of like struggle
Yeah.
is punching this one down. Yeah. So let's move on to our last one. It's Wish.
Yeah,
The
this is
movie-
the big movie to celebrate Disney 100.
Correct.
You're a
Yep.
star.
Yeah. I saw this movie this past week. I actually really enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it too.
It was okay.
I think it's honestly, I thought it was a little bit more refreshing of animated
was.
series than I've seen
Correct.
the past couple years.
Yes.
It went upward in comparison to
correct.
I thought the story itself was good. What was lacking was the music.
the music
was-
grows on you.
There
Actually,
was one good song.
Which song was the one that you liked?
It was the main song.
Oh, really?
The I Want song. That was
I didn't
the
care.
only
for
good
that.
song.
That was the one I didn't like.
I
didn't-
Want
Oh.
song. Is it the one with?
where she gets the wish or the
Oh yeah. That one's really. It's got power. I listen to it all the time. My daughter loves the music.
Maybe
yeah.
I need to listen to music.
And
more,
I listen
but-
to the music, and it's growing on me. At first, when
it's
I heard
like
it without it,
Encanto.
it's like Encanto.
I
Listen to it
liked-
more, and you like it a little bit here and there. And listening to the music before the movie, like, I was like, I don't know, I'm gonna like this. But when I watched the movie, I was like, oh, the movie enhances this music so much more.
Right. I enjoyed the the fight song.
The Revolution song.
The Revolution song.
I
That
know.
was a fun song.
You know, I know. Like,
yeah. Like, that was a great song
I
for
was
me. I left,
really-
when that song ended, I go, that was good. Like,
when Queen
Yeah.
Anaya, when she comes in and
Right.
comes to join them, you're just like, okay, we've got the people now
Yeah.
to stand up against tyranny right
Right.
here, and it was good.
I was really disappointed in the villain song.
the villain song was fun.
I wish so. This
Is that the one where people are saying it's AI?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is what I wish they had done in the song. I mean,
You
they,
wish? Let me take this from your soul now. Bloop.
I get it. Like at the beginning, he was conflicted. Like what to do? Is he good? What should he do? And stuff. And it kind of matched with the upbeat of the song. But then throughout the song, you could tell he was getting darker and darker. And I wish the music carried that. It changed tone a little bit.
Okay.
To match that feeling and that growth of the character. But it was just like as he was getting darker and like getting to that realization of like, oh, I want more power and control.
It's like, you've left me no
But then
choice.
they
I
ha-
have to
Right.
dive into
But then
this.
you have like this happy background singer, like
you know, the background was too much for you on that
Yeah.
one. Okay.
so I wish they reworked the villain song. I think it had
It's one of the weaker ones.
I think it had potential to be like a good villain song, but it
falls short.
It fell short. I don't think they spent enough time on it.
There's a lot of feeling that this was rushed to make
Yeah.
its goal.
In my opinion, is the villain was underdeveloped in this movie. I felt I was missing a lot of motivation. Why the king had made decisions the way he was making them? Like, why was he taking everybody's wishes?
Quick escalation.
Yeah, they gave us this thing like, oh, before the kingdom, everything was horrible.
He
and
was
things
betrayed,
like that.
and we lost everything. And like they show the
then-
banner on fire. You're like,
Yeah,
okay.
and that's all we get. And then we get to this point where it's all like, he can't be redeemed. He has to be defeated. And it's all like, okay, so there's no redeeming the king? Like, I thought he was a good guy because everyone liked
So
him.
essentially, it's
Yeah.
like Luke Skywalker going, "No, my dad's evil." He just slices him up and goes, "Sorry, Emperor, you don't have a sidekick
Pretty
anymore."
much. Like, it was just like one of those, it's like, no redemption at all. He's the bad guy.
It's
Get rid
true.
of him. Throw him in the mirror.
I
And it was
just
like,
thought
oh, okay. Like,
was-
he doesn't get a chance to redeem himself to
That
realize,
is
like,
a dark side of
maybe
a
you
villain
are
story right here.
I thought it was just refreshing that they had a villain in an
It's
animated.
true. That's
I was
good.
like, yes, a
It's not.
villain.
It's not grandma. It's
yeah,
not grandma.
it's not grandma. It was just like, who's the villain in Kanto? It was the grandma. Oh, that makes me feel terrible.
Trolling Latin grandma. They're the worst. Every I walk by them, I'm like, "You're the worst."
I was like, you're not gonna see her at a meet and greet at Halloween.
She's
Yeah,
got the
villain.
candles, just like, "Protect the candle."
You're not gonna see her.
So what are they gonna do with this one? They're gonna have the king, and he's gonna have all these like wishes, and he's like, "Boom, just destroyed your wish. I'm more powerful." That would be hilarious to see that. He's just popping balloons, and he's all like, "Oh, your wishes are gone."
You can have him trapped in the mirror on the wall or something.
Yeah.
The other thing I had an issue with this movie.
Sorry.
Sorry, I'm bringing this back in.
Yeah,
No, and Kanto Grandma cannot leave my mind.
I know.
Must protect the candle. Okay, Peter. Sorry,
Sorry.
You're fine.
we're digressing.
The part of the movie that, at first didn't bother me, but now it really does, is the fact the most heartwarming part of the movie happened at the very end credit scene.
It was.
Oh yeah.
That was like
I
was
totally
the part.
cried.
It gives you the warmth. You're like, oh, that's hitting the spot, and you hit it at the end of the credits.
Do you think they should have showed it at
when
the
they
beginning?
showed the wish,
they should
you should have shown that or something like
no,
that.
that's how they should have ended the movie. They
As
should have
opposed to with the
ended-
credit?
Yes, like instead of like that happy we're celebrating, you end it with him doing what he
Yeah.
does, playing the song.
Yeah, it's an artistic, director's choice, and I agree with you. It probably would have been a really good way to end it, But Disney like keep watching our credits. You're gonna get some funny. But this one they went warm and fuzzy. And I was like, whoa.
I'm glad I decided to stay because I was actually thinking about not watching the credits.
Boy, the spirit of Father Yoder has left you.
Well-
Well, I know. Well, like honestly, the Marvel movies have been disappointing me lately because the Marvels, they didn't have an end credit scene. They just had 2 mid credit scenes.
2 bits, yeah.
They didn't have the end credit scene. So the only reason why I was sticking around because I was curious with the credits rolling which characters were going to show up because they were showing Disney characters
Yeah.
throughout the whole history of the company.
That was
which-
fun.
That was fun, and so that kept me watching the credits.
My daughter was just naming them off. She's like, come on.
She named Aladar from Dinosaur. Did she get that one?
No, we have not got to Aladar yet. Yeah, when we got to that part, I was like, she's not gonna know any of these, like, darker
Meet the Robinson.
ones.
So
No, yeah.
one thing that Mark and I were discussing was I like that she's not a princess.
No,
She is one that grants wishes or helps with wishes.
I like seeing the fairy godmother
Yes.
swirl like that. I was like,
Oh yeah, she's the fairy godmother.
she's fairy
Yes.
godmother, and
Yeah.
and we haven't talked about it, but it's the Easter eggs. Like when you watch it, you see the many Disney movies in there.
Some of the Easter, I think many of the Easter eggs were great. Some of them were just too on the nose. Like the Peter Pan one was way too much on the nose.
It hits you in the face. You're like, I get it.
It's
2x4. I've got a mark on my face now,
Right.
right?
I didn't care for the 7 dwarf Easter egg because honestly, I felt the friend group was a little too much.
It
too
actually,
many.
I think it hurt.
It did.
them.
Yes.
It did.
I was like, honestly, you could have removed a few of them and just have 2 or 3 and be good.
No one likes Doc and Bashful. You go away. I thought.
Well, it was sad to see Happy so sad. He was sad most of the movie, and then he got angry.
Fair, yeah, right. Yeah, I like the little mark, and like you guys said, or you had clued me in that they're there, and so it was fun to look for them in
Yeah.
advance, and I enjoyed it. And I'll watch the movie again.
Now, I do
Yeah.
see. I think they left a scene out of this movie on purpose because we're gonna get
The chicken?
the chickens.
Yeah,
I love the chickens.
I think we're gonna get the full short when the movie
Oh.
hits Disney Plus. When the
think
movie
so.
hits Disney Plus, they'll release the short of the goat with
That's
the
right.
chickens.
This movie didn't have a short before.
No,
the
it didn't.
movie.
It
I
didn't.
forgot.
so I think they'll release a short with the goats and the chickens because we missed that whole musical
was
number.
fun.
Like they come in at the very end. You're like, I would have loved to see the scene.
go back. Yeah,
And
go
they-
back. I want to see that.
Right, and they purposely left it out, and that was another thing. It was like you left out the opportunity for a really fun scene.
Yeah.
For a scene that's kind of like, oh, don't listen to my talking goat. There's nothing in the closet.
My butt. Yeah.
But I enjoyed the character, Asha.
Asha's good.
Yeah, she was fun.
Yeah. I enjoyed the little wish star. That was so cute.
It's cute.
I chuckled. I laughed. I enjoyed it.
It's the theme of our Christmas is wish.
Oh.
So we got little wish toys put in the stocking,
That's cute.
and then a little plush and stuff like that. So it's a
Mine's-
big part of the thing.
Mine's not so cute. Ours is Fortnite. So
Well, you have boys, so.
We could go back to Santa Claus season 2, where it's all like,
Right.
"What is this Fortnite?"
right. Yep.
But I think overall, this movie was kind of a little of a breath
It
of
was.
fresh
It
air.
was.
And you're getting a new artistic style too with it.
Yeah, I didn't mind the new animation. I actually was glad they tried to change it up because, I was kind of getting done with the old animation style.
I saw it in 3D, and they did not adjust the camera, so it was
I
blurry
can't
for most of the
imagine
time.
it.
So the main I was just focused on the main character, so I didn't really see what was going on in the background. But it was kind of nice because I just focused on the story, and I
Right.
got distracted what's going on around.
And I thought the story of Wish was better than Encanto's story.
Okay.
But that was just my perspective.
I didn't have that thought. I'll have to stew on it.
Yeah.
It's still got that newness to
Yeah,
it.
it's
and
still new to me,
Because if you would have asked me right when I saw Encanto, I would have had a really negative point of view on it.
Encanto was a
You had to grow
It
on.
was a slow burn.
Yes.
It had to grow on you.
Yeah,
For
because I
sure.
remember seeing Encanto in the movie theater. I was like, It's not that great. And then I saw it again. I was like, oh, actually, this is.
And I watched it on Disney Plus, and I was like, this, and like watching it over and over, it solidified. It was good.
And
for
so
me.
I'm waiting to may have a final opinion on this when I can watch it more.
My daughter watched it twice. My wife watched, and then my wife said it was good. Seeing it a second time, we saw it in the movie theater late at night, and there was nobody in there, and so it was really fun to go to a movie with my daughter for the first time, which is me, and have her sing all the songs.
Right.
And she'd be like, "Dad, sing," and I'm like, "I don't know the song. I don't
I
know
don't
the
know.
words," but she was just belting it out. She knew them.
You put on Hercules, I'll sing the songs, but I don't know the
It was
songs.
exactly.
I had an annoying mom in our theater that got on my nerves because she was behind us and she would like taking her daughter, which was totally cool, right? But she would like talk to her daughter like, "Oh, she's sad," and like a baby talk
sometimes
throughout
parents,
the movie, and I'm just like,
Sometimes-
let them enjoy the movie.
Yeah, sometimes parents have this tendency to be like, "Oh, did you see that? Look, did you see that?"
Oh yeah, you see that at the park.
You see that a lot in the theme parks.
You just like let them experience it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just let them create their own.
Or if you're
magic.
trying to like keep them entertained from being bad in the queue, then you can do that. But
Yeah.
like forcing magic
Yes.
doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's like forcing love. It just doesn't.
So it was just I had that in the back, and so I was like really trying to focus on the movie, and yeah.
Okay, let's give it some Mickey bars.
I would give this like a 4 or a little bit below a 4.
Wow.
I
Wow.
really enjoyed
Okay.
it.
I'm not criticizing it. I'm just like I was not expecting a 4. I was
I
expecting
wasn't.
something in the 3s.
I thought people didn't give it enough credit that it deserved.
There's a lot of poo poo on Disney
There's
right now.
A lot
There's
of
a lot of
poo-poo.
hate.
And so I thought out of all the movies that came out, it was top.
I definitely say it's on the better end of the movies that came out this year.
Recent.
Oh,
movies.
yeah, this
past
year.
Oh, the past year. Yeah, I would say it's one of the better ones.
I would say it's either 1 or 2.
I think so. I'm gonna give it like a 3.25. I am willing to grow because this movie requires me watching it more
It will.
for me to determine if it needs to be higher up.
Right. And as I stand today and my feelings on it, I think I'm at a 2.5. But that's not to say
You required more from the characters on this.
yes.
It seems like.
Yeah.
And I think you're valid in your feeling. There was some things rushed. It was a quick
It was
movie.
very-
Yes.
You're like, oh, it's done.
But I was okay with it being quick.
It wasn't the end of the it wasn't the end of the world. You
Yeah.
know, with
Right.
it being like it got it done and I saw like I heard your thoughts and I was like, yeah, I could see where Peter's seeing it and I was all like, I'm fine with it. It didn't bother me too much. But your opinion didn't really change too much. All right, let's do a quick like what's coming up this next year. Whether you're going to see it or not in the theater or just wait. So, this one's 20th Century Kingdom of the Planet of the
I
Apes.
can't wait. I love this series.
Actually looked really good. I saw it in the theater and I was like, I actually may watch the other ones.
I loved all 3 of them, and I can't wait for this one.
I haven't seen the Planet of the Apes movies, so
Andy
probably
Serkis
won't
is
watch it.
Andy Serkis is like the director of all of them. So, and if you don't know who Andy Serkis is, he is Gollum from Lord of the Rings. So, and he's like the king of the bodysuits.
Okay, yeah.
He is the master of that technology, and so he uses it anytime he can, and he's done a fantastic job with this series so far, and I can't wait for this fourth.
It actually
movie.
looks like a good in theater
It does.
movie.
It looks fantastic,
And it made me like before when
Do
the
you
other
need to
ones
watch
came out.
the other ones? Probably.
probably
it-
not.
It
'cause
does
for-
build because
it
you're going to be
builds-
like, why is Caesar like?
I really
well,
know
no, Caesar-
nothing about
I'd say it's
Planet
more
of
of the
the
future.
Apes.
It's more
yeah,
in the
this
future,
one
I
I think
think.
takes place like 17 years or 40 years after the last movie. So
Okay.
it kind of doesn't connect. I would say still watch the other movies. They're good movies, but
They're like the prequels. They're going to tell the story better to where you'll understand it.
right.
If you don't know the whole arc of what happens in the Planet of the Apes, it's probably good to like. You don't need to watch the Charlton Heston ones necessarily. Okay, so we have also Inside Out #2.
I'll probably wait till it gets on Disney Plus.
I don't even hear some of the original voice actors from Inside Out. I
Oh,
didn't hear
really?
like the angry guy,
Oh, you know what?
It's
He
the
might
not
not.
same
I don't think it
voice.
is the same guy. You're right.
and I
From
don't
the
think Bill
trailer.
Hader was doing the nervous guy.
Right.
And so I was like, and then the girl that plays Disgust, I was like,
She didn't sound the same.
I did not say.
Okay.
And so there was like, I was like, oh, are we borderlining like
I-
Return of Jafar right here?
I think I'm not a huge fan of Inside Out, and so
Inside Out's a big one on our house. We do enjoy Inside Out, and so I will probably go see it in the theater. But my expectations are still low.
my thing is, if I'm bored and I want to go to the movies, I'll go see it, but I'm not gonna be like, I need to make time to go see this.
Right.
All right, so we got Deadpool 3. If you're a fan of that,
Which
if you like
apparently
the comedy of it,
from this one, like if you're following the MCU, this one's actually going to be pretty important.
I think they're trying to integrate.
This is where
This is like incorporating X-Men.
this is incorporating that X-Men storyline.
You do
kinda-
get a little clue in the Marvel's film,
I
right.
just
for
don't watch
X-Men.
Deadpool because it's too bloody for me.
It's yeah.
It's 20th century. It's not
Yeah.
Disneyfied yet. You know. All right. We have Mufasa, the Lion King.
I need to see more on it.
It's coming out at December. It's still in
Yeah.
production. And then like next 2025, you've got Captain America, Brave New World, and also Snow White and Fantastic Four. Those
Snow
are
White got pushed.
Yeah.
you put stuff out there, it's gonna get commented on.
Yep.
That's how it works.
But I'm okay if it's being pushed to be better.
Yeah, there's less MCU stuff.
Yeah, well, Bob Iger put a huge halt on
You guys spent a lot of money.
Marvel. Well, because he was just like,
Well-
he says there's too many Disney sequels.
I think they're going to be pulling the brakes a little bit on Marvel and pushing some gas into Star Wars here.
You're right, because in 2026, after the Avenger 5 movie comes out May 2026, you're gonna get an Avenger film and you're gonna get a Star Wars film.
Because like they've announced several Star Wars movie projects.
But
We
those,
got the new
I
Rey
wouldn't be
movie,
surprised
you
if they
got-
adjust those dates.
Of course, yeah, but they've got 2 coming out in 2026. Because I know one of them's gonna be like the Ahsoka Thrawn story, and then
Oh,
you're gonna
that's gonna
get
be
more
big.
like High Republic or Old Republic.
Right.
You may get that, and then one's supposed to be Rey. After that,
Oh, I thought they canceled the Ray one.
No, they just announced.
they
it.
Oh,
just
they
announced
they
they
it.
just
canceled another series.
Oh, they've canceled several.
Yeah.
There's several things. I think they were working on a droid show at one point. I haven't heard anything about that in a while. There was a Rogue Squadron movie that got canceled.
Yeah, that got canceled.
It's tough.
Yeah,
It's tough to figure out. After Solo, it changed things in Disney Plus.
it did.
All right, so there's a lot to look forward to. And this year wasn't the greatest, but there's some little gems out there if you're looking to watch them on Disney Plus once they come out.
And we'll talk more details about what our thoughts are, the future of the Disney movies
Yep.
and stuff, and a future.
And more things that we did like on Disney Plus as well,
Yeah.
not including those. But well, thank you for listening to our opinions about the theatrical releases of Disney films in 2023. Part of our end of the year review that we like to do. And let us know what you enjoyed about the movies with Disney or didn't enjoy. It's okay to say, I don't like it.
Yep.
It allows the company to grow
Correct.
and
Yeah.
move on from a fad or an era, because that's the big thing now.
Eras.
This is
Eras.
the eras. I don't know what it is,
What
but
would we name this era?
Ugh.
only time will say. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's time to move on from the Bob Iger movie era
Yeah.
kind of mindset and kind of let's be bold. Let's do
Yes.
something original.
New.
Back to storytelling. All right, yeah. Let us know what your thoughts are about the movies. Any ideas you have for an episode of this podcast. We're always open to comments. Reach out to us on our social medias. They're They're out there. It's not hard to reach out to us.
No.
And share with a friend or family. You know, it's always fun to get new listeners to converse with us. So with that being said, Auf Wiedersehen.
Thank you for joining us on this week's episode of the Matterhorn Yodelers. Please remember, before your bobsled comes to a complete stop, to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And remember...
Remain seated, please. Permanecer sentados, por favor.